Well, hello there. Welcome to the October newsletter. Can you believe it, October already? I look outside and I think, yeah, the light says October. If you're paying attention outside, I hope you're paying attention outside, yeah? Hello, it's me, your friendly little Luka, coming into your inbox for a little update on what's going on around here. I've been doing I have a couple of things I'm going to be talking about. I have a little experiment that I will invite you to do, kind of things that I do with clients, just to give you a taste test, but also just out of curiosity to see what you notice. I love supporting people in paying attention to things and what's going on for them. So some of the work that I've been doing lately, I've been working with one-on-one clients a lot. I've been supporting people who have sensitive systems, lots of histamine and mast cell issues, autoimmune issues going on in the background. And I'm really seeing that there's this common theme of heightened reactivity, actually, in a lot of our bodies going on. And as a result, we're kind of seeing an increase in some of our symptoms. And it totally feels like it is definitely aligned with the energetics that are happening in the world right now. Yeah, maybe it is for you too. I'm supporting a lovely honey through an osteoporosis diagnosis. I'm also working with someone, actually quite a few people where I'm seeing this trend with electrolyte imbalances in clients and the kind of the common pieces that are tying it all behind the scenes, tying it all together. What else am I working through? Oh, I'm supporting honey through a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. And the way in that we're coming at it this time around is to look at metabolic health and what it means to build strong metabolic health in order to support a reduction in what's driving some of the symptoms they've got. What else am I doing? Oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago did a class on post-antibiotics and great response. And over at Histamine Haven, we just launched a new season of the Histamine Haven office hours in our online community. So yeah, lots on the go. And I'm really feeling the uptick of that pickup energy. I'm recording this just before the start of October. And towards the middle to late September, did you notice there were some weird energetic things? When is there not? It feels like it's all over the place all the time. But I really feel like it feels like we got over a really big hump of something, and now I'm feeling like that momentum is starting to pick up. And I wonder if you're finding this too. One of the things I was talking about recently on the socials is there's a couple of Irish content creators who've been talking about the brilliance of their language and having Irish ancestry and trying to connect with my own indigenous roots. Who am I indigenous to? Like, who are the people I am indigenous to? And the Irish certainly is a massive, massive part and a more recent, accessible part of my ancestral wisdom. From the traditional people I come from. And so I love this idea. Quite a few have said this. You know, when you're talking in the Celtic language, you don't say, I am sad. You say, sadness is upon me. And if you think of it that way, like I'd be curious to know what comes to your mind. Like, how different does that make things, right? Like, I have sadness upon me, for me just sort of feels like I'm gonna move through it. It's not a permanent status. Like, it's something that comes and it will just as well leave eventually. I am not sad. I'm not steeping in it. I'm not soaking in it. It's coming and it's leaving. And then I like to extrapolate that to those of us who have some chronic health stuff or who have symptoms. I don't know if I have chronic health stuff. I think I have chronic life stuff. I'm chronically living, baby. I will not see it as a negative. I won't. I refuse to, actually, because when I see it as a negative, to me, I don't know, I think we're keeping ourselves locked into some not great things. And I know symptoms are painful and can sometimes really disrupt our days. I don't mean to diminish that, because I certainly experienced that with some chronic pain issues. But I love to think about this concept of, if sadness is upon me, what if you take that with whatever condition you're working through? So my gal who's got osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is upon me. She is not osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is not her. She is who she is. and osteoporosis is upon her. And the energetics of in this invitation of how it can shift some of the energetics around it is just so powerful. Like I just, for me, I have histamine and I may have mast cell activation. I don't know if I do or not. And I don't actually ever want to find out. Partially because I don't want to identify with it and I want to live beyond that. And a lot of what I do with clients is to help people see beyond and sort of and move through, not around and ignore it, but move through and help support them in building some of the biochemistry that can help them have an easier time moving through it. But moving through it, you're not staying in it, you're not stuck. To me, the invitation is to keep moving through it. And this invitation of how we look at what it is that we're working through as mast cell activation question mark is upon me. I have histamine stuff, yeah, and there's times where I can't eat high histamine foods. It happens less and less often, maybe once or twice a year now, where it used to happen on a daily basis. And I can tell when I need to, and it's fine. So I'll invite you. That's my first experiment. Whatever you've got going on health-wise, what if you take on that, like, sadness is upon me kind of impetus with what it is you're working through. Hashimoto's is upon me. I'm trying to think of all the main things that I'm helping clients through these days. Osteoporosis is upon me. Brain fog is upon me. Oh God, is it ever sometimes, right? Through perimenopause. Perimenopause is upon me. There's another one. That's a big theme that I see with many of my clients. What if you take that on and how different does it allow? Like it allows for something to open. There's a release of a blockage somewhere to me, which allows you to move through it and keep moving through it. And that's the impetus, is that impetus of flow. And to me, fall is really an invitation to notice the shift in flow, right? Summer kind of led us up to this energetic kind of feeling up here, and fall goes downwards energetically through the plants. You can see it outside, through the leaves on the trees are falling to the ground. The sun is even getting lower on the horizon for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. Like everything, the energetics of fall is this downwards trend, but it's not a negative downwards, it's a flow. And what can we do to reinsert ourselves into that natural flow? And this invitation of how we think about histamine issues are upon me, invites that flow back in. And just sitting with that in curiosity, not having to make any other decision other than just some of that self-talk and some of the ways we're approaching it energetically. What does that shift? It may not shift anything. You may not be ready for a shift. It may actually wake something up that needed to move but hasn't been able to, and now that's painful. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course that could happen. And your body will stop you if it can't handle it. It's okay. There's an inherent trust in the body that has to happen in order for you to really settle in with it. So yeah, that's the first experiment. I have a second one coming in a bit, but these missives, these newsletter missives at the start of the month are all ways to highlight some of the stuff I've got on the go in case it's something that might be of service to you. Because I'm here to help you, whatever you've got going on, yeah? While I do tend to focus on histamine and mast cell activation issues with one-on-one clients, it is like beyond histamine. There's so much that we can do to help support the body to function better and to have a better flow. So I'm here to help you find better flow in your body. So in that spirit, I have a quick thought for you. Your gut, we sometimes think of it as, or you might have heard it said, I say it all the time, your gut is your second brain. Do you know that the last nerve that comes off of your brain travels all the way down into your gut, and you have a whole second brain, the enteric nervous system, living in your gut? So you've got a two-way conversation going on between the gut and the brain all the time. And there's a lot of influence that goes back and forth. If something's happening in the brain, the gut will know. If something's happening in the gut, the brain will know. As it pertains to the gut, because that's what we're doing in the GoodFood Network in October. Digestion in particular, right? I wanted to focus on digestion because we're getting into fall. The energetics of fall from a TCM perspective, traditional Chinese medicine, the predominant organ to look at is usually the lungs, and the secondary organ is the large intestine. And the large intestine is about letting go. And is that not what fall is happening? Like, is this invitation to let go of what no longer serves us, like the trees are letting go of the leaves and so on and so forth. But before we can let go, I think there's an invitation to see like how well can you get what it is you need out of things before you let them go. Are we slow at letting go because we're having a hard time getting out of things what it is we need? This feels a bit obtuse. I am just riffing off the top of my head. What if digestion? So this is what I'm saying. Like, before we let go, can we improve how you digest first so that you can get more out of what it is that you're eating and foods in particular? And when you can better digest, will it be a little bit easier? Will it feel a bit safer in the body to let go, which is what the energetics of fall are? There's so much thought that goes into how I put stuff together, hey? Just so you know. So let's go back to digestion. You are what you eat, right? You've heard that expression. Some people take that a step further and say, you are what you eat eats. I'll give you a second to think about that. You are what you eat eats. Yeah. I'm going to go a step further, and this is going to tell you exactly everything we're doing in the Good Food Network. You are what you assimilate. What, Luka? You're so obtuse, Luka. I know. You will join me at some point. Don't worry. You are what you assimilate. What does this mean? You could be eating like a queen or a king, but are you able to get the nutrients out of the foods you're eating? What? Just a second. This is kind of the whole impetus of everything we're doing in the Good Food Network in the month of October. And where I want to start is digestion begins in the brain. In order to best assimilate, you need to be able to digest well. And digestion is taking foods, breaking them down into nutrients, getting those nutrients into your system, and distributing those nutrients where you need them for whatever job you need in the body. Yeah? That's what digestion is. And a lot of us have kind of digestion and kind of not quite down into nutrients, but kind of right here. And as we hit middle age, which is where the majority of my clientele is, that capacity starts to wane. So that's what I want to focus on for today. And there's a little experiment behind this. So hang tight. Digestion does not begin in the stomach. It actually begins in the brain. There's a lot of biochemistry to support the start of digestion and the making of all of the ingredients you need in your body to be available so that you can get nutrients out of the foods you're eating. Your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, the enzymes that come out of your pancreas after the food comes out of the stomach to better break down foods, the bile that gets secreted out of your gallbladder in order to better break down your fats and get the nutrients within, so on and so forth. The DAO, that is an enzyme you make in your gut that breaks down histamine, and so on and so forth. So the biochemistry of how those get triggered is all decided by your brain. And it's all begins in the brain. Digestion begins in the brain. So just smelling or even thinking about food can start to get your digestive juices flowing. Your nervous system actually kicks things off before the first bite. So digestion is a nervous system thing. And if you're struggling with digestion, are you struggling with your nervous system maybe? Is that maybe one of the pieces that needs support? How well is that going? So, the gut, if you're around here, I'm sure you've heard me say this 18 million times, but your gut has 3 layers, yeah? First layer is the intestinal wall, and that absorbs nutrients. It also helps move things along. You also have the mucosal layer, and in that mucosal layer, it's that snot layer that lives above the cells. That's a protective lining. It's a gatekeeper. It's also the perfect house for your microbiome. Then you have a 3rd layer, which is your microbiome. Your microbiome is this trillions of microbes and bacteria, fungi, yeast, a bunch of different things viruses. And this microbiome shapes your mood, your energy, your immune health, your metabolism, so many things. Blood sugar balancing, absorption of nutrients, the freeing of more nutrients in the foods we're eating. Like there's so many things that the microbiome influences. And each of these three layers, the microbiome, the mucosal layer, and the intestinal layer, is vital. And I want to be clear, your nervous system actually influences all three. All three layers are impacted by your nervous system, not only, but every other digestive process that starts before things hit your intestinal tract. So, what does this have to do with things? Well, let's talk about stress and the nervous system and how it pertains to this. Because would you agree we're living in a time of high stress? Yeah, I think a lot of us really feel it keenly. And also, I don't know that there's ever been a time in human history where there hasn't been stress. For many of us, I think a certain subset of the population may not have felt stress, but I think they did feel, I think everybody feels stress. It's a human experience. It's okay. I'm not here to say you need to eradicate stress from your life. Well, I'd love it if we could. I'm going to work towards a world where we can, for as many people as we can. But that's a philosophical talk for another day. Stress and your nervous system. I want to tie this in. So when you have the stress mode, you essentially, it's your nervous system calling on this stress response. And your nervous system has two modes. It has fight or flight or rest and digest. Those are the only two modes it's got. So if you're turning on fight or flight because the stress mode is on, well, you're not going to be in rest and digest mode. So in the stress response, you're turning off digestion. And now that starts to lead to a couple of different issues. The more you trigger that stress response, there's a direct impact on your microbiome where you start to reduce how much variety and diversity you have in the strains of the gut. You also drive issues in the mucosal layer. It's harder to make that mucosal layer, and your intestinal tract feels this as well as a result of the other two layers struggling. And it leads to weaker absorption, less ability to assimilate the nutrients into your system, less protection of the outside world, which is your intestinal tract, and the inside world, which is your body. And that intestinal layer is that layer that keeps the two separate. The more stress you're under, that layer really starts to struggle. And the microbiome is impacted like so many things. So when I say you are what you assimilate, those are all kind of the pieces that I'm trying to tie in together. Okay, Luka. Geez Louise. I know. Okay, so I have a self-experiment because I love to give everybody, whether you're a client or not, what if you tried this little experiment? I want to do a little nervous system reset invitation for anybody who wants to join. There's not an accountability. We're not going to send out emails. You can comment below this video. That's about it. But I invite you to try this before a couple of meals this week. Do a little nervous system reset. And this nervous system reset, what it's going to do, it's going to get you out of fight and flight and get you into rest and digest. So you can what? Digest. Yeah. So here's a nervous system experiment for you. If you are a busy parent driving children to activities, this is going to be very difficult, especially if you're the person having meals in the car. But it's going to be even more important for you. So when it's time to eat, before a meal, I want you to try this a few times this week. This is the experiment, and then I'll tell you what to look for. So the experiment is hand on belly, hand on chest before a meal. So like a few minutes before meal. 5 slow breaths, your belly rising with each inhale. And part of how we can get you into rest and digest, by the way, is to make your in-breath a smaller count than the out-breath. So if your in-breath is 3, then your out-breath needs to be 4 or more. So if you do this, you could try it right now. Just put your hand on your belly, hand on your chest, maybe over your heart. And you can take 5 slow breaths. Belly rises with each inhale. Really get the breath down into the bottom of your belly. and do 5 of these. Even just trying it right now, my voice is even dropping, just thinking about it and being conscious of my breath. What if you do this before a meal? And if there's others sitting at your table, might they want to join you in this? Just to see how different it feels. And staying in that mode, notice how different it is to enter the meal you're about to have. Does the meal taste different? Is your experience of that meal a bit different? That's a first step. And the next step, I want you to notice how you feel after your meal as well. So if this is dinner, for example, if you're going to do this at supper, how different are your evenings? Is it easier to fall asleep? Do you feel a bit calmer? Do you not feel frantic later in the day? Do you no longer have the wired and tired feeling into that late evening time? Are your emotions a little bit more even keeled? I'm trying to think of how else this could resonate. There could be many other things. Do you get less hot flashes? I'm seeing hot flashes with so many clients right now. It's so interesting. Yeah, do you see a reduction in your hot flashes? Are you less burpy farty? If you have histamine issues, you get less symptoms when you eat and just do this simple act before a meal. So this is live in action, your nervous system helping you shift into rest and digest in order to support your gut, in order to better assimilate and get those nutrients into your system. What do you notice? That's going to be your experiment. Okay. Because I'd like to leave people with some practical things. These are the kinds of things we do in my one-on-one work and in the Good Food Network and in classes. So if this little pause made a difference for you, if you're noticing some shifts, imagine what it would be like to build on it with more tools and strategies, slowly but surely, not in a quick and overwhelming way, but in a way through where you've got access to many different things and you pick and choose what you want and you move forward with confidence and you don't take everything that's there. It's really an act of moving out of the concept of scarcity into the concept of abundance without triggering a stress response. Right now, I think when abundance comes, we get stressed. And I think our invitation right now is to not and to work through it. So anyway, this is what we're exploring in the Good Food Network. We're doing the gut as a foundation for metabolic health. We're touching on all kinds of connections from the microbiome to immunity to hormones this month, how your gut health can shape all of these systems, what gut health is after 40, how to support that, and how to kind of put some pieces in place to support that. In addition, I also have a live class coming this month called Your Gut as Your Second Brain, How Your Nervous System Shapes Gut Health. Case in point, we just did the thing. How your nervous system shapes your gut health. So many people talk about, oh, you need to do an anti-inflammatory protocol. You need to support the gut. You need to do the gut mending. Yeah, of course you do. I won't lie. I do that. Every client gets meat stock. But more than that, we also need to look at the nervous system piece to this. And that's a big part of what we'll be doing on October 15th, coming up at this class. So you could take just the class, Your Gut as Your Second Brain, it's called. So you could take just that, or you can join us in the network where you get everything in the network plus that class. It's included. So at whatever level you're ready to enter, I'd love to see you there. I'd love for you to join us if you're curious in going deeper. So I'm gonna share 3 links below your video here and also in the newsletter that you've got. I'm going to include 3 links. Number 1, the Good Food Network, a link if you want to join us. And for those who are on the newsletter, so this goes on YouTube, some people will see it. They're not on the newsletter, get on my newsletter. Because newsletter people, you get a discount. You get it for a little bit cheaper. So I will make sure that link is in your newsletter only, but it'll be the regular one if you're watching this on YouTube. So if you want the special price, go back to the email that sent you this video. Number 2, your link is going to be for the Gut as Your Second Brain class. The 3rd link will be for a 30-minute chat with me. If this has sparked anything for you and you're like, I have questions about this, Luka, book in for a discovery call. That's what I call them. They're 30 minutes. So we can discover what's going on behind whatever your question is. So we could do a bit of un, um, not unraveling, but like a looking behind the scenes. Can we figure out what's happening behind what it is you've got going on? Please book in for any of these if you'd like to join us. And if not, I'd love to hear what it is you're seeing shift when you try this little nervous system thing. Bit of a longer email this month rather, a newsletter, but yeah, I like to leave you with some constructive things to work on. I think we live in an amazing time, and I'm just so grateful that you exist in my universe. So I wanted you to know, in my love language, I like to share and support. So I hope you found some of these pieces useful. And I look forward to crossing paths with you at some point down the road. Take care. Salut. À bientôt.